Hey guys, it's Costa Captain Assis. It's been a while since I've posted a video. I think the last time I was doing videos on the business was around when I opened the Pittsburgh location. Kind of want to do an update video, kind of get everyone up to speed. I'm going to get back into vlogging. Hopefully, this is all based around a singular event that, trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Hopefully, the short attention that I'll have from the event, I'll be able to get some audience and then, use it to build my personal brand and then maybe, give some insight to people about how I went about doing my business. A lot of people ask me how I got about doing my business. Everyone has their own way. I really think that the way that I got into my business is not being talked about by anyone, and I'd really like to share my story. I already have some videos out there, but I'm going to do some more videos, talk about the start of each of the stores, how I left my full-time job to become self-employed full-time, and really kind of get into more details if at all possible. This is my beagle Bella. She jumped up on my lap right after I got the phone on the tripod, and so she wanted to be part of the video. So yeah, let me just get into some of the things that have been going on since January, and you can go back to the old videos and look at them and see. But I'm going to do a full update video. I'll put some work. I'm going to try to film as much as I can today and get some content put out based around all of that. So, yeah, we'll just start with the update, and I'll talk a little bit about the event that's going on. So typically, in order to retain viewers on YouTube videos, if you have a big news or kind of like what the whole video is about, you leave it at the end. But I'll come out the gate with what's going on. So Gary Vaynerchuk's book is coming out January 30th. It's called Crushing It. It's basically an updated version of Crush It, which is the book that got me into Gary in the first place. The big news is my business is actually going to be featured in the book. So I don't know. I haven't gotten my copy of the book yet. I've signed a bunch of releases to be a part of the book. I've already pre-ordered a couple copies, and I pre-ordered the audiobook since I drive so much. But it's going to be interesting because my name's going to be out there. My social media handle is going to be in the book, and Gary's audience has absolutely exploded since I first started watching him. When I first became aware of Gary, like, he did have his 1 million followers on Twitter, but Twitter was kind of circling the drain at that point. They kind of came out of it. But, as far as Instagram and Facebook went, I think he was like a couple 100,000 people followed him, and now all across the board, his social media is all in the millions. So he's got a much larger audience. He's done a fantastic, he obviously eats his own dog food. So, I listened to him on a lot of stuff, like my business. That's part of the reason why I made it to the book was I sent over the team some empirical evidence that the things that Gary said work. And so because of that, they had the physical numbers. I sent them over, like, all of my information. So all of that is going to be in the book. And it's going to be pretty exciting because, one thing I'm really looking forward to is hearing how Gary pronounces my name, since he does his own audiobooks. He voices them all, so that'll be fun. But it's going to garner me a lot of attention in a short period of time, and I'm going to have to take advantage of it, whether it's releasing a second volume of my book, which is an option, or whether it or whether it means, coming out with a product to, that is of scalable use, because right now, For those of you who don't know, I'm in the oil change industry. I have a chain of quick lubes that I started. It's not a scalable business. The only way to scale my business is to open up more locations, and even then it's not scalable because I could literally give away free oil changes, and there's going to be a geographical point where it doesn't make sense. I could give away free oil changes at my Harrisburg location. Someone from New York isn't going to drive there to get it because it becomes a point where it's not a value. It doesn't add any value. So one thing I've been trying to do, it's very difficult, is I want to do a private label line of oil filters. If I had my own line of oil filters, that's something that is of scale. I can sell to anyone at anywhere in the country, and that's one option. So I can either go with and then the other option is just not to monetize an audience. Like I don't need to make money from YouTube videos or having a following. I do enjoy going on different forms of media. I went on Tasty Trade's platform, and that was fantastic. I did some radio interviews, and I've given some keynotes at universities, and that stuff is all fun. It just becomes difficult when you're actually running a business that has 20, 30 employees, and you have to operate that business, and you only have so many hours in a day. So there's some, I've talked to some people on Twitter already and they want to interview me, but it's like, I was in Chicago yesterday. Tomorrow I'm going to Harrisburg. The day after I'm going to Cleveland, Ohio. So that's this week. It's just tough. It's tough, and part of being a good CEO, if that's the term that I'd want to use for myself, is delegating and finding ways to streamline processes. But at the end of the day, if you want full quality control, you have to take care of issues on your own. So as far as the event, that's it. Now I'll talk a little bit about how each of the stores are doing, and we'll get into all that. So I kind of want to just give a state of the union on my different locations. We'll start with Harrisburg. Harrisburg is still, which was my first store, it's still, it's the steadiest store. It hasn't been rebranded yet. As I talked about back in the last time I was doing videos, a lot of my focus was on the rebranding of the business to the Costa Oil Inc. branding. I will get into what's going on that front at the end of the video, but as far as that goes, currently my landlord's still not allowing me to paint the building. If you've seen any pictures on social media, it's a blue building. It's an old building. It needs to be painted, period, but I wanted to rebrand it with my black and yellow colors, and she's just not having it. So right now it's still branded as Quick Change Oil, a Costa Oil Inc. company. And that's just how it's going to be for the foreseeable future, unless I can get an investor to come in and purchase the building, which I think would not be too difficult, other than it's a really old building, but I pay a really good rent, and so from an investing standpoint, it would make sense for an investor to buy the building. I would buy it myself. I don't have the cash for it. Every time I get a little bit of cash, it goes right back into the business. So and buying that building is just in terms of priorities of where I'm at right now is just very low, very, very low on the totem pole. Second store, Dillsburg. Dillsburg is what it is. It's a 7,000 person town. It's a tough market. We're getting there. The social media engagement is not high there. It's an older market, which, as you all know, I'm a Gary fan, so I think my employees didn't really buy into the social media side of things because they're like, oh, if I'm not on it, that means no one's on it. Well, that's a mistake. It's a mistake to think that way. Maybe I've overestimated the amount of engagement on social media in Dillsburg, but I think everyone severely underestimates. I mean, I'm having conversations with, grandmas, definitely moms posting soccer videos and Little League videos. So it's a different market. Each market is different. That's another thing with what is one of the difficulties I face is each of my markets are so different, even the ones that are in the same state. And then there's the ones that are in completely different states. So Moving on from Dillsburg to the third location we opened, which is the quote-unquote Chicago store, which is in Mount Prospect, which is 10 minutes away from O'Hare. Mount Prospect is the most profitable store. It has the least expenses. The nice thing that just happened, we just rolled over our 1-year anniversary at the Mount Prospect store, and the seller financing to purchase that business. And if you've read my book or if you've seen the videos, we stole that store. It's all gone. So the $2,100 we sent to the previous owner every month for the last 12 months, gone. That money is going to be reinvested in the business, or I could put it in my pocket. It is what it is. You can do whatever you want, but I'm most likely going to invest it in the business and maybe increase our marketing campaign. It's a tough spot because it's not a volume-driven business like my other stores. Store number 4 is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, I did a ton of videos when I took it over. It was a fantastic store. All my staff has been there the whole time. They've been great. They really buy into my theories. They really buy into my vision. And honestly, as a result of that, that store has flourished. We've done a ton of business. Like, can't talk enough about how much that business has grown. It's not profitable yet. In the macro, it is not profitable, but on a month-to-month basis, we have profitable months. The deal with that is we're just putting all the money back into the business right now because it's grown so fast, and we want to retain the growth too. So when it comes a time to slow down the spending, then we'll finally get to see some, and that'll go probably right back to the employees. I might start paying myself. We do have a silent partner in that. I do have a silent partner in that store, and he needs to recoup some of the money that he injected into the business. So that's the Pittsburgh store. Store number 5 is the Youngstown store. Youngstown is a town in Ohio. It's about 45 to 50 minutes away from Cleveland. It's about 70 miles from Cleveland, and Route 76 is 70 miles an hour. So if you're cruising, you can get there. But Youngstown is what I would call a scratch store. We got a really favorable lease. There hasn't been a tenant there for over a year. There's a lot of competition in the area, but I think that if we educate our customers, that will win that business. And Youngstown's been a struggle so far. It's been open for 36 days as of today, and it's just not doing a lot of business, and we're pouring a lot of money into it. And it's tough because it's a chicken and the egg situation where you want to put the money into it, but it's not making any money, and you can only do it for so long until you realize that you're going to have to cut things into profitability versus spending your way into profitability. There is a turning point, and finding that nuance is kind of what I think makes some operators more successful than others. Youngstown, I think, will be fine. It's on a busy road. Each day, everything's growing. It's just slow growth. In the beginning, it was really tough because there were a couple of days where we got 0 customers, and you guys know this. Your bills, your vendors, they don't care what your situation is, whether any money came in, they want to get paid. So that's one of the truths of business. You open up a shop and you have a 5-year lease, and you have expenses, you have utilities. They don't care that you're not getting any customers. They want to get paid. So that's why it's been kind of I don't want to say a wake up call because I'm always motivated, but it also has been I've found new ways to win business that I've implemented at other stores that have been beneficial. Then so lastly, there was two stores coming in 2018. We have Millersville, Maryland, which we'll call the Annapolis store, and we have Hanover, Pennsylvania. Hanover is going to end up being the headquarters of my whole operation. That's a whole video in itself, and I'll talk about those 2 stores. But those are good case studies for if I were to do a volume 2 of the Zero Down business, because I'm getting into both of them for just the security deposit and first month's rent. And I think on Hanover, not even that. So I'll talk about those in their own video, and we'll and I can tell you how I got into stores number 7 and 8. 2018 is going to largely be about filling in the footprint and rebranding everything under the Costa Oils Inc. Branding. Right now, Pittsburgh and Youngstown and Dillsburg are the only stores branded as Costa Oil Inc. Hanover will be, Chicago will be, and Millersville will be, but it's all going to happen in 2018. And once I have an actual footprint, it gives me a lot more mobility in terms of branding, in terms of dealing with vendors. So my big, right now, what I'm going through is I'm closing all the state and local tax accounts. I'm paying off all of those balances, and I am closing all of those corporations. Capthanasis Group Inc., Hallis Oil Group Inc., and Pittsburgh Oil Group Inc. They're all going to be closed before December 31st. No revenue, no payroll is going to go through after that date because I don't want to do 2018 taxes. We're going to have a consolidated tax return. It's going to be Costa Oils Inc. as the holding company. The operating company, there's not going to be, an umbrella company anymore. It's just going to be the one company with the different locations. This is going to make things a lot easier on me as an operator. I structured things the other way for the purposes that made sense at the time, but now they don't make any sense, so it's time to make a change. There's a lot of redundant payments being done that are expensive because I don't have the leverage of multiple stores because they're separate corporations, workers' comp, ADP, things like that. And those will all be eliminated by having one corporation that handles all of it. So 2018 is going to be super exciting. The 2 new stores are going to open. We're going to have the full rebranding of all the stores under the umbrella. I'm going to really put my head down, get to work, and I'm going to run my business and work on my personal branding and get more videos out. And hopefully I can bring some value to anyone watching. Any questions, feel free to email me. I know I used to say costa@capogroup.com, but now we're going to go with Costa at costaoils.com, COSTAOILS.com. You can find me on all the social media at Costa Capo, KAPO. And just hit me up if you have any questions about anything going on, anything in regards to purchasing a business for the first time, how to deal with brokers, just stuff.